Welcome back to Coins Hunter USA, the channel where pocket change turns into treasure and every coin tells a story. If you're passionate about rare and valuable US coins, you've come to the right place. Today, we're diving into the world of the Jefferson Nickel 5-cent coin, a small coin with a big story, and in some rare cases, an even bigger value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, stick around because this nickel might just surprise you. Top 1. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of United States coinage to uncover a true hidden gem from the past. Get ready, because we're about to explore the mystery, history, and surprising value behind the Jefferson nickel from the year 1989. At first glance, the 1989 Jefferson nickel may look like just another ordinary coin you've probably held in your hand dozens of times. You might have even spent it at the corner store or had it rattling around at the bottom of your piggy bank as a kid. But here's the shocking truth: not all 1989 Jefferson nickels are created equal. Some of them, thanks to rare minting errors and pristine preservation, are now worth a fortune. Before we reveal the unbelievable value this coin could reach, let's take a look at its fascinating background. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American coinage since 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, and the iconic Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, on the reverse. The design remained largely unchanged for decades, making even small variations or errors highly noticeable and valuable to collectors. Now, why is the 1989 version so special? Well, that year was not an anniversary, and it wasn't a low mintage year either. In fact, millions of these coins were produced by both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But here's the twist: among the millions of coins struck that year, a few rare pieces were made with shocking mint errors, and others have managed to survive in immaculate, untouched condition for more than 3 decades. Some of these rare mint errors include double die obverse, where Jefferson's profile or the inscriptions appear slightly doubled. This error occurs during the striking process when the die imprints the design on the coin more than once by mistake. Collectors go absolutely wild for this kind of mistake, especially when the doubling is clearly visible to the naked eye. Another rare error found on some 1989 Jefferson nickels is known as the off-center strike, where the design is visibly misaligned. In some cases, the date or Monticello may be partially cut off or shifted dramatically to one side. These types of errors are instantly eye-catching and command strong interest from serious collectors. And then there's the rarest situation of all: a coin that combines both a striking error and is in mint state condition. That's the jackpot combination. A coin that was misstruck at the mint, never circulated, and preserved perfectly over all these years is almost like winning the lottery in the coin collecting world. So how do you know if your 1989 Jefferson nickel might be valuable? Start by checking its condition. If it shows little to no wear, full sharp details on Jefferson's hair and coat, and strong luster, that's a great sign. Then, examine it closely for any signs of doubling, off-center designs, missing elements, or even strange metal discoloration. These are the traits that can send your coin's value skyrocketing. Now let's talk about why collectors are so eager to get their hands on a coin like this. For numismatists, finding a rare error coin in mint condition is more than just a financial win. It's a discovery, a piece of history that was never meant to exist in that form. It's proof that even in a world of mass production, mistakes still happen, and those mistakes can become gold mines in the right hands. Collectors will go to great lengths to add these kinds of coins to their collection because they know their value only goes up with time. The 1989 Jefferson nickel, especially those with confirmed errors or in uncirculated condition, has seen a steady rise in interest and auction prices in recent years. And some have made headlines with their final sale price. And now, for the part you've all been waiting for, the jaw-dropping value reveal. If you have a 1989 Jefferson nickel with a rare error such as a double die or off-center strike, and it is in flawless uncirculated condition, its value can soar as high as $65,000. Yes, you heard that right. $65,000 for a nickel. That's more than what many people make in an entire year, just for one coin. So what are you waiting for? Dig through those old coin jars, flip through your inherited collections, and check every 1989 Jefferson nickel you come across. You never know, your next big payday might be sitting quietly in a drawer, waiting to be discovered. Top 2. We're going to talk about a coin that many Americans have likely handled without ever realizing its hidden potential, the Jefferson nickel from the year 1991. What if we told you that one of these ordinary-looking coins could be hiding in plain sight, and its true value might just shock you? Yes, the 1991 Jefferson nickel. It's small, it's common, and most people would overlook it entirely. But some of these nickels are far from ordinary. In fact, a select few have become the stuff of legend in the coin collecting world, and we're going to tell you exactly why. The Jefferson Nickels series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and it has remained a staple of U.S. coinage ever since. Designed by Felix Schlag, the obverse features a strong left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. The reverse side of the coin showcases Jefferson's historic home, Monticello, in elegant neoclassical detail, but the 1991 edition has gained attention for a different reason, not its design, but because of rare mint errors and exceptional condition examples that collectors are actively seeking. Let's dive into what makes the 1991 Jefferson nickel so exciting for numismatists around the world. To begin with, millions of nickels were struck in 1991 at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. However, even though it was a high mintage year, that doesn't mean every coin is equal. Many of these nickels entered circulation quickly and were subjected to decades of wear, scratches, and loss of detail. But a very small number, perhaps only a few dozen, were never circulated. These coins remain in what collectors call mint state condition, preserved with crisp detail, natural shine, and no damage. Coins like this instantly stand out. But now let's take it up a notch. Beyond just pristine condition, what if a 1991 Jefferson nickel had something even rarer, a mint error? These errors can occur during the coin striking process and result in a coin that is dramatically different from its intended design. Some 1991 Jefferson nickels have been found with double die errors, where the lettering or Jefferson's image appears doubled, especially around the words, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty." These kinds of visual anomalies are highly prized and often command premium prices at auctions. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly aligned and appears shifted to one side. These can range from minor imperfections to extreme errors where large parts of the image are missing. The more dramatic the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. Even more rarely, some 1991 nickels may show planchet errors, meaning the metal blank used for minting was flawed. This could result in strange coloring, cracks, or incomplete stamping. Any of these flaws, if authenticated, can elevate the coin's value astronomically. Now imagine finding a coin that checks all the boxes, a 1991 Jefferson nickel that has never been circulated, remains in mint state condition, and features a rare striking error. That's the kind of coin that collectors dream about. That's the kind of coin that's whispered about in auction rooms and chased after at every coin show. That is the kind of coin that transforms an everyday object into a piece of American history. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins like this because they combine multiple layers of value. You have the historical context, the rarity of condition, and the added uniqueness of an error that makes each coin a one-of-a-kind specimen. It's no longer just pocket change, it's a historical artifact, a conversation piece, and a financial asset all rolled into one. And here's something else that makes the 1991 Jefferson nickel special. It was minted during a transitional period in U.S. coinage, just a few years before dramatic changes in coin design and production began taking place in the late 1990s and early 2000s. That places the 1991 coin at a unique point in history, where traditional minting met the modern era. Whether you're a beginner collector or a seasoned numismatist, this is one coin you do not want to overlook. If you've got old change lying around, coin rolls waiting to be searched, or inherited coin jars from parents or grandparents, take a moment and look closely at every 1991 Jefferson nickel you find, because one of them could be the key to an unbelievable fortune. And now, it's time for the moment you've been waiting for. If you are lucky enough to own a 1991 Jefferson nickel with a rare mint error and in perfect uncirculated condition, its current market value could reach as high as $72,000. Yes, that's right. $72,000 US for a 5-cent coin. So before you toss that nickel into a vending machine or let it disappear into your couch cushions, take another look. You might just be holding something far more valuable than you ever imagined. Top 3. We're taking a close and exciting look at one very specific coin, the Jefferson nickel from the year 1994. It's small. It's common. You've probably handled it 100 times without ever giving it a second thought. But what if we told you that some versions of this very coin have been sold for tens of thousands of dollars? Yes, you heard that right, and by the end of this video, you'll know why. Let's begin with a little background. The Jefferson Nickels series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It's one of the most iconic and longest-running coin designs in American history. The obverse features a proud portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by sculptor Felix Schlag. It's a design so familiar that it's almost invisible in daily life, yet its subtle changes and rare errors are what make certain issues extremely valuable. Now fast forward to 1994. That year, millions of Jefferson nickels were minted, specifically over 776 million coins between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. With such a massive number, it's easy to assume the 1994 nickel would have little to no collector value. But that's where this story gets interesting, because scarcity isn't always about how many were made, but about how many survived in perfect condition, or how many were struck with mistakes that should never have left the mint. So, what makes the 1994 Jefferson nickel stand out in the eyes of collectors? Let's start with the rarity of condition. While hundreds of millions were produced, the vast majority entered circulation quickly. They were exchanged thousands of times, scratched in pockets, dropped on sidewalks, and forgotten in junk drawers. But a very, very small number, possibly only a few hundred, have been found in gem uncirculated condition, also known as mint state 67 or higher. These are coins that still carry their original luster, no signs of wear, and all fine details sharply preserved. Collectors pay serious attention to these full-step nickels, meaning the steps of Monticello on the reverse are fully visible, unbroken, and distinct. It takes precision and perfection for a nickel to earn that grade. And when one surfaces from 1994, it draws a lot of attention in the auction world, but condition is only one piece of the puzzle. What really drives value through the roof is when these nickels also feature minting errors. Let's take a moment to talk about error coins, those glorious, unexpected flaws that happen during the striking process. These aren't damage done after the coin leaves the mint. These are mistakes made at the source, and they can be worth a fortune. One of the most famous error types is the double die. This occurs when the die that strikes the coin shifts between impressions, resulting in doubled images, especially in the lettering. Imagine seeing a Jefferson nickel where, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," appears twice, slightly overlapping. To the untrained eye, it might seem like a printing smudge. But to a coin collector, it's a ticket to a massive payday. Another incredible type of error seen in 1994 nickels is the off-center strike. If the blank coin, known as a planchet, is not correctly aligned when struck, the design appears shifted. Sometimes, the date ends up near the edge, or part of Monticello is missing entirely. Depending on how far off the strike is, and whether the date is still visible, these coins can sell for thousands of dollars. And then we have clipped planchet errors, where a portion of the coin is literally missing, due to an improperly cut blank. Some 1994 Jefferson nickels with these errors have shown up in auctions and coin shows, shocking everyone with how much they fetched. There's even a small number of wrong planchet errors from the 1990s, where Jefferson nickels were mistakenly struck on foreign planchets or coins meant for other denominations. These incredibly rare mismatches are sometimes lighter in weight, have odd coloring, or make a completely different sound when dropped. Collectors and experts love these coins because of their story. They're the exceptions, the accidents, the mysteries that slipped through the cracks of an otherwise perfect minting machine. And the 1994 Jefferson nickel has become a surprise favorite among error coin specialists. But let's not forget something just as important: context. The 1994 nickel exists at a time when the U.S. Mint was about to undergo big technological and design shifts. The late 90s brought the 50-state quarters program, modernization of minting tools, and digital die engraving. That makes the 1994 coins part of the last era of traditional coin striking, giving them a nostalgic and historical significance that only adds to their appeal. So now, let's tie it all together. If you happen to find a 1994 Jefferson nickel that has survived the decades in perfect mint condition, showing full details, brilliant luster, and no wear, and it also has a verified mint error like a double die, off-center strike, or clipped planchet, then you're holding something extraordinary. Not just a coin, but a numismatic treasure, something that collectors all over the world would love to add to their collections. And now, for the most exciting part, the value revealed. If you are lucky enough to own a 1994 Jefferson nickel in pristine uncirculated condition, with a rare and dramatic error, its market value can reach up to $78,000. Yes, that's $78,000 for a single 5-cent coin. Think about that. A coin you might find in an old jar, a coin you may have received in change without noticing, could be worth more than an SUV, more than some luxury watches, and even more than many people's yearly salary. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about metal, it's about history, uniqueness, and the thrill of the hunt. So what should you do now? Start checking those nickels. Look closely at every 1994 coin you come across. Use a magnifier, check the edges, study the letters, and compare the features. You never know when a fortune might fall into your hands. Top 4. We're about to explore the world of a seemingly ordinary coin that might just blow your mind, the 1999 Jefferson nickel. You might have one of these nickels in your pocket, stashed away in a drawer, or hiding at the bottom of a coin jar. To most people, it's just 5 cents. But what if I told you that some 1999 Jefferson nickels are selling for tens of thousands of dollars, and not because of what they are, but because of what went wrong when they were made? Yes, the year 1999 may feel recent in the world of coin collecting, but it was a critical year for the U.S. Mint. The United States was preparing to enter a new millennium, and changes were already underway in coin design, minting technology, and overall production standards. But during this transitional time, some fascinating errors and rare variants slipped through the cracks. That's where the 1999 Jefferson nickel comes into play, and why it's now a hot topic among collectors. Let's start with the basics. The 1999 Jefferson nickel features the classic design used since 1938. The obverse shows the stoic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, and the reverse depicts Monticello, his grand Virginia estate. These designs remained largely untouched for over 6 decades, making small changes or mistakes extremely noticeable and often highly valuable. In 1999, the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of these nickels at both the Philadelphia, No Mint Mark, and Denver, D Mint Mark, facilities. With so many coins created, you might think that none of them could be worth anything beyond their face value, but you'd be wrong. Because tucked within these millions are rare coins that feature minting errors, and some are in such high demand today that they've reached unbelievable price tags. So what exactly makes a 1999 Jefferson nickel worth more than just 5 cents? Let's begin with condition. Coins that were never used in circulation, those that have no scratches, wear, or discoloration, are graded as mint state by professional grading services. Only a very small fraction of 1999 nickels have survived in mint state 67 or higher. These coins have razor-sharp detail, full steps on Monticello, and an original shine that makes them almost look freshly struck. If you have a coin like this, you already have something special. But wait, there's more. What truly sends these coins into high-value territory are errors and rare varieties. And in 1999, the Mint produced some absolute stunners. One of the most sought-after errors on a 1999 Jefferson nickel is the double die. This is where the design on one side of the coin, usually the text or Jefferson's face, is imprinted twice due to a misalignment during minting. The result? A ghost-like doubling of the letters in God We Trust, Liberty, or the date itself. This isn't damage, it's a genuine minting mistake. And collectors go absolutely wild for them. Another fascinating type of error is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet, the metal disc that becomes a coin, is not properly centered under the die during minting. The result is a coin where the design is clearly shifted, sometimes drastically. If the date is still visible and the strike is far enough off-center, the coin becomes incredibly rare, and incredibly valuable, but we're not done yet. Some 1999 Jefferson Nickels have been found with clipped planchet errors, where a piece of the coin is literally missing because of a fault in how the metal blanks were cut. Others have been struck on the wrong planchet altogether, such as on a dime blank, which results in a smaller-sized nickel with incorrect metal composition. These types of errors are extremely rare and always grab the attention of serious collectors. Even more interesting are the coins that combine multiple factors, for example, a double die error and mint state condition, or an off-center strike on a planchet with unusual metal discoloration. When a coin checks several of these boxes, its value can soar to jaw-dropping heights at auctions. Now here's something many people don't realize: even though 1999 doesn't sound like a long time ago, coins from the 1990s are increasing in value rapidly. Why? Because collectors are now shifting focus to coins from the late 20th century, and high-grade examples are becoming harder and harder to find. Most 1999 nickels were heavily circulated. The few that remain untouched, especially with unique minting errors, are now considered modern rarities. Coin shows, online auctions, and collector communities are all buzzing with interest in 1999 Jefferson Nickels, especially those with authentication from grading companies like PCGS or NGC. These coins are fetching prices that were unthinkable just a few years ago. If you're a collector, a hobbyist, or even someone who just stumbled upon this video out of curiosity, here's the most important takeaway: don't ignore your nickels. Especially from the 1990s. Look at every detail. Use a magnifying glass. Examine the letters, the steps on Monticello, the rim of the coin, the mint mark placement. Everything matters. Because the next high-value find might be sitting right there in your loose change, waiting to be discovered. And now, for the part you've all been waiting for, the price reveal. If you are lucky enough to own a 1999 Jefferson nickel in flawless, uncirculated condition, with a verified minting error, such as a dramatic off-center strike or a strong double die, its value can climb to as high as $85,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. 85,000 United States dollars for a single 5-cent coin. It's not just pocket change anymore. It's a piece of modern American history, a one-in-a-million mistake, and a dream come true for collectors who understand the value of rarity and preservation. So go check those drawers. Search your coin rolls. Look through inherited collections. That one nickel that everyone else overlooked might be your ticket to an incredible payday. Top 5. We're diving deep into one of the most talked about and unexpectedly valuable nickels from the 20th century, the 1972 Jefferson nickel. So grab a seat, coin lovers. This is going to be one thrilling ride into the world of rare errors, collector demand, and a 5-cent coin that could turn into life-changing money. Now, when most people think about valuable U.S. coins, their minds go to silver dollars, rare quarters, or ancient gold pieces. But nickels? Many wouldn't give them a second thought. That's exactly what makes this story so fascinating, because hidden in plain sight among millions of nickels minted in 1972, there are a few remarkable pieces that today could be worth more than an entire year's salary. Yes, from just 5 cents to tens of thousands of dollars, and today, we'll show you how. Let's start with a bit of history. The Jefferson nickel design began in 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, this 5-cent piece features a proud, left-facing portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, and his iconic Monticello home on the reverse. The design remained mostly unchanged for decades, making certain features and flaws easy to spot, if you know what to look for. In 1972, both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels. In fact, over 400 million coins were struck that year. With such high production numbers, it might seem unlikely that any of them would be valuable. But as seasoned collectors know, value isn't always about how many coins were made, it's about how unique a coin becomes, especially when rare errors or untouched mint state conditions come into play. Let's break it down. First, let's talk condition. A circulated 1972 nickel, the kind that's been tossed in drawers or passed through thousands of hands, might be worth just face value. But when you find a 1972 Jefferson nickel in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially with a grade of MS 65 or higher, you're looking at a completely different story. These coins are bright, sharp, and show no signs of wear. And if they feature full steps on Monticello, meaning the steps on the reverse are clearly defined and untouched, that instantly adds tremendous value. But where things really take off is when you start getting into the world of minting errors. One of the most valuable errors found on 1972 Jefferson nickels is the double die, a minting mistake where the coin's design is stamped twice slightly out of alignment. On these error coins, you'll see doubling in the lettering, particularly in words like, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or even the date. The doubling effect gives these coins an almost ghostly appearance, and collectors go absolutely wild for them. There are also examples of off-center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned with the center of the coin. These off-center errors can range from barely noticeable to extreme shifts, with the date and part of Jefferson's face sliding toward the edge. The more dramatic the off-center strike, and especially if the date is still fully visible, the more desirable and valuable the coin becomes. Other rare varieties from 1972 include clipped planchet errors, where part of the coin is literally missing due to a flawed blank being used during minting. And yes, there are even a few known wrong planchet errors, where a Jefferson nickel was mistakenly struck on a dime or foreign coin blank. These bizarre mistakes are incredibly rare, and when verified, their value can skyrocket. Now combine a rare error with a high-grade mint state condition, and what do you get? The ultimate jackpot for a collector. These kinds of combinations are exactly what buyers, dealers, and investors are searching for, and they're willing to pay incredible sums of money to add such coins to their collections. You might be wondering, how can something so small, so overlooked, become so valuable? The answer is simple. Coin collecting is not just a hobby, it's a passion, a hunt for historical artifacts, a search for perfection, and sometimes, a race to own a one-in-a-million mistake. Each rare nickel tells a unique story, one of survival, of chance, of unnoticed rarity, and in the right condition, it becomes a priceless piece of American history. It's also worth noting that 1972 sits in a very special chapter of U.S. coinage. It was a post-silver era coin, produced during a time when the mint was modernizing and transitioning, and as with many transitions in history, mistakes happened. And those mistakes are today's treasures. So what does this mean for you? It means if you've got an old stash of nickels, maybe in a coin jar, a family collection, or even in pocket change, you need to start looking at them closely. Examine every detail. Check for doubling. Look at Jefferson's profile, the words, the date, and especially those Monticello steps. Use a magnifier. Look at the rim for smoothness, any clipped edges, or alignment problems. The treasure could be right in front of you, and now, it's time for the moment you've been waiting for, the big reveal. If you are fortunate enough to own a 1972 Jefferson nickel that is in perfect uncirculated condition and features a rare minting error such as a strong double die or significant off-center strike, its estimated market value today could reach a staggering $85,000. Yes, that's right. 85,000 United States dollars, for a nickel that was once worth just 5 cents. That's the magic of numismatics. That's the thrill of coin hunting. That's the potential that lives in each coin you touch. So don't let these opportunities slip by. Check your coins. Know what to look for. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next one to uncover a hidden gem worth more than you ever imagined. If you love this story and want more thrilling discoveries about rare US coins hiding in everyday places, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Coins Hunter USA, and tap that notification bell so you never miss a valuable update. Thank you for being here, and until next time, keep your eyes open, your coins close, and happy collecting.